Hello, everyone.
Now we're all vibing.
Yeah, welcome back to MoonTown Offline Vibin' Edition. Today we're gonna be vibing. That's the plan. I'm looking at
And
the
tomorrow,
itinerary.
we're going to be thriving.
Ooh, and then on Sunday we're gonna be jiving,
Ooh,
and then on Monday we're gonna be
Donovan.
we're all gonna be Donovan that day.
Everyone's going to be Donovan that day.
Yeah. Hey Donovan. Hey, how's it going, Donovan? I love you, Donovan. I love you too, Donovan.
And
Donovan
that's two
has
people we
died.
don't even know.
Yeah. Donovan has died today. He was killed by a rogue Donovan. His wife Donovan is here, along with their two kids, Donovan and Donovan.
When you have a couple people going out at night in a van, it's the Donna van. So let's get to our topic of today that I don't think they know.
I don't think they do. No, this was a bit of a kind of a spur of the moment thing. We got to get better figuring this stuff out. And if we don't, all you guys can comment below the topics that we should go over.
Mm-hmm. Help us, please.
Please help.
But today is Friday, May 29th, 2:10
2:10 p.m.
Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, still 2020. Just real quick, how you been holding up?
Good. Nothing much. Got a lot of work I have to do still, so that's not fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've been doing well. I started watching the Critical Role stuff that you referred me to.
Heck yeah, boy! I was watching that today and yesterday.
Yeah, I'm hooked, man. I'm doing like an episode a day right now.
Well, let me tell you, just so you have something to look forward to.
Yep.
Episode 93 has my favorite D&D moment of all time.
All right. I'm going through campaign 2 right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Campaign 2.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really hooked, and I'm so mad we can't start playing this like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm also jealous of you. You get to be the dungeon master.
Yeah.
Like I gotta learn stuff first before I even do that. But
Yeah, I was a player first too.
yeah. And also, last night I started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's right.
I
I
got
was there.
Yeah, and I got you and I got Val and AJ to help me out. And Val's going it through too, right?
You got AJ for an episode and a half.
Yeah, he's there. He shows up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the basic gist. So our topic today was top 5 Star Wars media.
Which is very tough.
Yeah. Now, have you read any of the comics?
No.
All right, neither have I.
Or
So,
the book.
what was that?
Or the books.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyone who is interested in knowing what our thoughts on the Palpatine origin storybook were,
We would like to know too.
yeah, figure it out somewhere else because this will mainly be shows, movies, and games.
Yep. I have thought about putting toys on the list, and I was like, there's no amount of joy a lightsaber by myself can give me than me watching something or playing something.
Yeah, yeah. All right. You want to go first?
Sure. So, my number five, and it's my number five because I haven't watched it all. Um, which people are be like, you haven't watched it all yet? Well, shut up. I get distracted. And I don't even finish video games half the time, more than half the time. So God forbid I finish a show every once in a while. But this is Star Wars Clone Wars, or the Clone Wars, the CG one.
Hmm.
It's Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars,
Hmm.
right? As to why, I think it has the best storytelling in the entire prequel era, and a lot of really good storytelling just in general. And out of all the Star Wars media that I've seen, if I finished it, it might be like at least number three, maybe number two, possibly number one. Because these next two things are also things you watch. But that is my number five, Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Honorable mention to The Mandalorian. Once it gets more seasons, I'm sure it'll be higher up on both of our lists.
Yeah, right now it's just season 2 is coming out in like November, I think it was.
Oh, oh, wow, yeah, it's already that far down. 2020, 2020, huh?
Yeah, yeah, they're adding a bunch of characters that people already know about, which I'm just side note, I'm like a little nervous about because it's like it's done so well with just like characters it's made up its own.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's like, oh, now it's faces you remember, and like this is what they're doing now. I don't know. It might get a tad crowded, but just have to wait and see on that.
Just go wait and see, Mike.
Mhm.
So, how about your number five?
Oh, my number 5 was Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one in particular?
Uh, Most likely either. I don't know. I just put it as like either Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Uh, I have it for the Nintendo Wii, or just like Lego Star Wars sets and stuff, because they've always been super fun and they just spark the imagination like Lego does. And the complete series, it's a pretty fun game once you get past like going through each world 5 times to get everything.
Eh, we had time as kids.
Yeah, yeah, we had a lot of time. It was very casual, but it was a very adventuresome kind of casual.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How about you give your number four, and then I'll give mine.
ooh, all right then.
Switching it up.
All right. My number 4 is Star Wars Clone Wars, the 2003 miniseries that premiered on Cartoon Network, directed by, I wrote down the name, Gendy Tartakovsky, same guy who made Samurai Jack, and I think either helped make or like was a partial part in like Dexter's Lab, I think. Anyways, that show is stunning. If
It is really good.
Yeah, if no one's seen it, check it out. It's the whole series is literally 2 hours because each episode's like 3 to 7 minutes. But
Yeah.
it's a really great tie-in between episode 2 and 3. Even if you don't have the Clone Wars, you can still have these 2 hours of like, all right, this is generally the kind of stuff that happened, and it goes a little more in detail about the crystals they do with the lightsabers. It goes into
It even like kind of like helps out the Clone Wars.
exactly, yeah, and it goes into Grievous. It was literally the introduction to General Grievous in the Star Wars world. Keep in mind, like Revenge of the Sith was 2005. This is like 03, 04. So this was like all before that. Grievous gets introduced in this show in one of the greatest introductions of a Star Wars character, because he's got this giant army and he's such a brilliant tactician, and he kills like 4 Jedi and maims 3 of them. And then he's the one that gets Palpatine at the very end, because like like the season 2 of Star Wars Clone Wars is like Obi-Wan and Anakin are real good friends, are at this snow planet where Anakin's got to fulfill this prophecy, and the rest is like the Battle of Coruscant. because if
Hmm.
you skip a couple years and go into episode 3, you're going into the very end of that war, that battle. So you're getting to see all the little ins and outs. You get to see like Swin do a bunch of cool stuff. You get to see I forget the Jedi's name, but he's got kind of the horns that go down like this.
I don't know.
Oh, well, he's got like this whole cruiser filled with clones up in like a giant space battle, and they use like jetpacks and space shoots to literally just like dive bomb and jump onto the separatist ship, and then jump down and kill everything. And then there's like that one clone in that one scene that shoots everybody. It's only a couple of seconds. It's some of the most entertaining stuff. And then like you see how like Grievous gets his cough, and you get some more like preludes into Darth Vader, and then it just ends with like, all right, Battle of Coruscant is going on, and Obi-Wan and Anakin are here. All right, wait about a year, and then you can pick up this story. So it's a lot of fun, just narrative-wise, seeing how everything works out. And it also introduces Asajj Ventress, or sorry,
Hmm.
Asajj Ventress. And the animation is beautiful. It's Genndy. He never disappoints in terms of action and stylized stuff. And yeah, music's really good. It's very concise, very entertaining. A lot of great dialogue. Yeah, it's my number 4.
My numero cuatro. I haven't seen it in a while, but as a child, it was my favorite Star Wars movie. That's right. There's movies on this list. My number 4 is Return of the Jedi. My favorite scene, in particular, is when you have Luke Skywalker and he's beating down Darth Vader, and that really nice, like, 30-second sequence of their fight, like at the top of the bridge, and then just bam, bam, bam. That's like one of my favorite Star Wars moments of all time. And I think it's just great. I haven't seen it in a while, so a lot of people, or I've learned growing up that apparently Empire is the best movie, and still arguably probably. But I've always had a soft spot for Return of the Jedi. Empire's the one I've actually seen the least because I lost it as a kid. So I saw 6 and 4 a lot, and I saw Empire the least. And 3 or 4 years ago, I saw the Hoth sequence of Empire, but then I had to leave and do something. So I still haven't seen that in a long time. But I did see A New Hope after Rogue One came out. So I've seen some of the original trilogy in a long time. And this actually also brings me to honorably mention, because I'm not going to bring these up, but Shakespeare's Star Wars. They
Yeah.
have, I think they're going to, eventually they'll have all 9 films out. I don't know about Solo or Rogue One, but I have, it's not over there. I don't know why I'm pointing. I have the first one, and then there's also the original trilogy that I wish. Oh, I have the original trilogy. So you can have that adapted into Shakespeare's glory. But specifically, my number 4 is the film Return of the Jedi. Ah, yes. And you've already given your number 4. So I'll give my number 3. Bonk, bonk. Now, Owen, numbering these things was hard. My top 2, I think, are my top 2. But if you gave me another week and I maybe rewatched or redid some things, and just so everyone's clear, I haven't played every Star Wars video game. So you're not going to see Force Unleashed, which I played a little bit, but it's not fair to judge it based off of 2 levels. Or Fallen Order, which apparently is like, but, or so numbering these next top 3, because now it's our top 3, is hard. But I'm going to have to go with number 3 being Force Awakens. Force Awakens is, at the moment, you just heard my thing on not watching 5 or 6 in a while, but it is at the moment my favorite Star Wars film. I think it's the best out of the prequel or sequel trilogy. Better than Solo or Rogue One, and better than all of the prequel trilogies. I think the movie's nicely paced. It's long, but feels short. My favorite character in this film is Han Solo. So his journey in particular, I find interesting. Yeah, it's just a really fun film and set us up for a lot of hope that didn't really get to cash in on. Um, but yeah, it was a fun time, and it was a fun time to be a Star Wars fan around that movie too. Like the experience of seeing that film, I saw it 5 times in theaters, by the way, was incredible. So yeah, Owen, you're number three. Oh, stalling.
Tap, tap, cola, what a beautiful drink. Tap, tap, cola, for beautiful people. Tap, tap, cola, you're beautiful to me. Real cola tastes just 1 calorie. Tap, tap, cola, what a beautiful drink. Tap, tap, cola, for beautiful people. Tap, tap, cola, it's beautiful to be so good and sugar-free. Tap.
Stalling, stalling, stalling.
All right. So my number three is actually I don't know if this is cheating or not. My number three is both Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I mean they're probably like two of the best sequels like in general. Like
Uh-huh.
they set the bar that like Shrek 2 and the Planet of the Apes trilogy and Return of the King set. You know what I mean?
Wait, but let's not think that Shrek 2 is better than Shrek 1.
I don't know. Shrek 2 is like really good.
I don't know, man. We both came away from that Shrek 2 film experience a little different.
Yeah, we're
Which,
gonna.
by the way, guys, if you don't know, Owen and I don't just talk all the time.
Yeah,
If you're watching this, you probably already know, but for those randomly somehow don't know, Owen and I and our friend AJ and Donovan, who everyone will be this coming Monday, did a complete Let's Play of Shrek 2. So go check that out. Owen, I'm sorry for interrupting. Continue.
that's all right. Go watch Shrek 2 on the Nintendo GameCube. We have 18 episodes. They're all a lot of fun. You can go to our MoonTown channel after you've subscribed and liked, of course, and then you can go watch all of them and subscribe again with different accounts. Anyways,
Maybe we'll get to 16.
yeah, maybe it's ambitious, but just maybe. Then, I mean, after that, it's just the Moontown School. That's it's named after us. There's the Austin wing and the Owen wing.
That's right.
The O wing.
O wing and the A wing.
Yeah,
Speaking of Star Wars.
it's an entire school building in the shape of an A wing.
That'd be horrible. A wings are horrible.
That'd be kind of fun. The teacher's like in the cockpit. I don't know. Anyways, Empire Strikes Back. I know you haven't seen recently. I'm just gonna tell you, most likely just one of the best sequels, period. This thing takes what the original Star Wars did and delves deeper while also kind of taking a new direction. I think there was either a different writer or a different director for
Different director.
specifically a different director for specifically Empire Strikes Back. George directed New Hope and Return of the Jedi, but
Wait, I don't think he did.
Hmm?
I think he just wrote them.
Yeah, I think George might have just written them. I could have sworn he would have directed, like at
No, I
least.
think he only directed the prequels.
Huh.
That's why it was like, huh? Well, we can fact check us later.
Yeah. In any case, the guy that directed Empire does a fantastic job delving more into like the Empire and just like the Force that was only talked about for like 2 seconds, and then it's just like, oh yeah, the Force be with you. But then we actually get everything in Dagobah, where he finds soon to be fan favorite of most, Miss Piggy himself, Yoda. And he shows up and he just starts whipping out all this philosophical stuff. and all these terrific and memorable lines about like ethics and like perseverance and whatnot. It's like, oh,
Whatever that means.
yeah. I'm like, oh, shoot, this guy is awesome. I bet he doesn't die in the next one. But then it's like the fight between Vader and Anakin. That was built up. Like they
Yeah, I
didn't,
love when Vader fights Anakin.
yeah, they didn't really fight in Episode 4. Just kind of like Vader was shooting at him, but that was about it. But now we
Yep.
actually get like this intense, dark set piece, and we get the infamous like
Yeah, the lighting is superb in that scene.
I know, yeah, and like the smoke and everything, and then it just goes on to that middle part, and then he cuts off the hand, and then the huge twist that just it shaped that one line shook the entire spectrum of cinema because it was like villains have a gray point now. Villains can be gray and they can be redeemed, which is the arc that later goes into Return of the Jedi, which does have a different tone than Empire, but I think it still works and is trying to do like the best of both worlds, keeping a more uh, playful, regular New Hope stuff, while also when it's dealing with Vader and Anakin, really going into the Empire side, the more thinky side of the Star Wars stuff. That I don't know why I'm not saying it. I think I'm just worried that someone's watching this and they haven't seen Star Wars, because surprisingly, that's not as small as a minority as you might think.
Right? Like
Yeah.
my girlfriend didn't see it anything until 2015.
Exactly, yeah. So just that one scene shook all of cinema and completely changed
Yeah.
how characters are actually looked at.
Like I can't believe Vader actually got the Infinity Gauntlet and all the gems. And then, oh shit! Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's true. And Return of the Jedi kind of goes in the reverse direction, but I don't think as not as impactful as Empire, but it certainly goes into like Luke having some darker thoughts and like being on the cusp, as you said, like that whole fight with him and Vader at Return of the Jedi, him being like right at the finish line of being a new Sith apprentice. So it goes into more when you have gray characters like that, and like every choice they make matters. It really stepped up a couple levels in terms of how scripts were now going to be written and how actors were now going to see their characters instead of just like, oh, he's the hero. Like, no, there's more to it. And I think all of that really, maybe not stemmed, but certainly was very impacted by the writing and the emotion that was put into Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So yeah,
There you go.
it's number 3
So
there.
if you had to pick one that slightly edges over the other,
Empire.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
You're number 2.
All right, I'm gonna need some more water for this.
Stalling, I'm stalling, and this is my face. Boop.
All
Oh,
right,
stalling. There we go.
let's do some more talking here. Number 2 is, of course, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I've seen every episode. A couple of weeks, about a month or so before season 7 came out, me and my mom just sat through and we just watched every single Clone Wars episode. And seeing it all together really put a great perspective on what this show actually did. Because if you had just this show and the prequels didn't exist, you would still have like a concise and strong prequel. Because it, like, you have the original trilogies, the stuff that happens in there. And I think The Clone Wars goes into a lot more, obviously it has more time to go into depth about the war and all the emotions and baggage that go with it. I think it's like it does so much of what the prequels did kind of poorly. Like it still explains everything to you. Like, oh yeah, Anakin and this senator are actually in love. Oh, and it looks like that's not the Jedi way. It still presents the conflicts that the prequels did. The Clone Wars just has more time and more, like, I don't want to say better actors, but better directed actors, I think is
Well,
a
yeah. Plus, they have more time with the roles.
exactly, yeah. And you go into these new characters, specifically, of course, Ahsoka Tano.
Bad Bane.
Yeah, she's a bit of a whiner at the beginning, but then you grow on her, and you see this whole journey that she's going through, and you get again this whole different perspective on how the Clone Wars and just this galaxy like is seen through the eyes of a different person. And that's also especially prominent in the clones themselves. When in the prequels, they were just like CG figures that were shooting guns and did nothing else. The Clone Wars made the clones people.
Mm-hmm.
You have Captain Rex, you got Fives, Echo, you got Jesse, you got Hardcase. You got, at least for me, all these like memorable names, because these, while all 1,000,000,000,000 of them are of course voiced by D. Bradley Baker, each one of them has such a unique delivery in their lines and such a unique ideal set and
I
everything.
think there's episodes where it's basically just him.
Exactly, yeah. There's
He
the
better be balling than money. He better be balling.
there's the classic and beautifully written Umbara saga, which
Yes.
I mean it's space Vietnam basically. That's just what the Umbara saga is. It's space Vietnam. And you see that in such a unique and special way. And you get more, of course, the more of like these clones are actual people. When it gets to like the end and stuff's going crazy, these guys aren't making choices based on a lab that they were grown in. They're making choices because they're soldiers and they're human beings. They're life forms. They have these personalities. They have these inquiries. They have these emotions that are solely their own. When you see it like a clone you've known die, like slight spoilers, when I think it's Waxer that is a clone that you've only known for a couple episodes, but like him because he has a name and he has distinct traits about him. When he dies in Umbara, you really feel it, because that's just like how war is sometimes. You know these people for only like a few days, a few weeks, a few months, but when they die, like you've grown such a connection with them because all you have is the guy next to you and the battle in front of you. There are just so many other terrific sagas that, like, of course, they're like the darker ones, like Umbara. There's the stuff with the slave world that's really interesting and is also a good perspective piece on Anakin. But there's also like sillier ones, like Jar Jar. He's not that bad. In this show, he's not that bad.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, he shows up like once a season, and like everyone's good. You got what are some other terrific ones? You got the Water War season, Moncala whatever or something. You got the introduction of Hondo and the pirates, and he's so entertaining. And then of course, you've got the more experienced relationship with Obi-Wan and Anakin. You see this pair slowly being separated by different circumstances. You see literally everything about Mandalore and about Duchess Satine, and you see the connection they had for Obi-Wan, and how Obi-Wan, he says if she had asked, he would have left the Jedi Order. And you see that kind of like that guilt and that kind of resentment of himself, of still following like these cultish order ways, but he still has this stuff. So like when Anakin's doing all this stuff, you know that he's not alone in this, and there could easily be other Jedi that deal with this stuff. And you know, of course, you got everything on Dathomir with the Night Sisters, super cool. It was like space magic, come on. And then you know, Maul. You got every single thing with Maul is just complete masterpiece. The guy who does Maul is terrific, intimidating, aggressive, bold, dramatic. He's everything you'd want in a revenge-driven Star Wars villain. And he does a whole lot of awesome stuff. And then of course you get to like other ones. What's another good arc I could talk about really quickly? There's an arc in season 6 where Yoda figures out how to be a Force ghost. He goes on to this like super spiritual journey and sees all this stuff, and you find out all these things about like the deep past of the Force.
I think we can do a top 10 Star Wars, the Clone Wars arcs.
All right, then. We'll make sure we do that. I'm trying to wrap up as best I can. Season 7. Season 7, absolutely brilliant. Bit bumpy in the middle, but absolutely brilliant, and is some of the best Star Wars media at the very end. So Star Wars The Clone Wars, not only the number 2 spot, probably one of the best shows in general. All right. How about you talk for a bit?
Yeah, well, now we're going to get my number 2 and number 1. People might not be as surprised to find out that these are indeed both video games. To quickly recap, my 5 was The Clone Wars. My 4 was episode 6. My 3 was episode 7. And now my 2, and this has a lot to do with my childhood. When I was coming up with this list, it was kind of hard for me to like do like this is definitely also subjective as well as like objectively I think this is good, but subjectively the experience I've had playing this game growing up with my cousin, this also heavily influences number 1 as well. But my number 2 is Lego Star Wars, specifically Lego Star Wars the prequels, which is Lego Star Wars 2. I think I played through the first game, which is the original saga, a little bit.
Lego Star Wars, like the first one that came out, that was the prequels. Lego Star Wars 2
is the original trilogy.
Was the originals, and then the complete saga.
Well, I am the one that I had that when he came over when we would play a lot was the original, or was the prequels. So it was, and I just remember that's the only Lego game I ever really cared to play, was the Lego Star Wars games with my cousin. So, you know, just building everything, and I don't think I ever completed it fully because the amount of the bits, bolts, things, currency you need to get all of those characters is absolutely ridiculous. But
you need a lot of studs.
Yeah, studs. Thank you. But we got most of them, and we just played through level after level after level. And I just think that experience is something that I know you can't really take away from. And now for my number 1.
Can't get enough of Super Sugar Crisp.
Give me some sugar. Look, Blob's making air pollution.
Hey, Blob, you're polluting the air.
I don't care, Bear.
Well, I do. So I'll put out the fire and clear up the air.
You deserve a reward, Sugar.
Super Sugar Crisp is my reward. Start your day with a good breakfast featuring Post Super Sugar Crisp.
It's a honey sweet vitamin treat.
The definitive Star Wars experience with friends. The original Star Wars Battlefront 2. Playing either Galactic Conquest or just having a playlist on instant action, just going down. My cousin and I would spend hours upon hours just playing those. And then when I have some friends of mine from high school, even though this was mostly after high school, we would play, like specifically someone brought a PS2 and we played Battlefront 2 practically the entire time. Galactic Conquest, switching off planets and stuff, putting the game on hard mode, seeing how we would fare. Losing because sometimes the AI is an ass. Mos Eisley with the heroes, it's just amazing. You get to be Anakin. I always thought it was cool being on the evil side and having a blue lightsaber as a kid. I was like, hee 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 hee. Han Solo, surprisingly good compared to other people. Luke, Ayala Sakura, I looked at her butt a lot when I was young.
As most men have.
Yeah, she's 2 lightsabers also, which is just badass. But yeah, quick shout out to Knights of the Old Republic and Republic Commando. Great games. I need to play Republic Commando more. I played it a long time ago, then I bought it, and then it didn't work. So that made me sad. But Lego Star Wars is great, you know it. And Battlefront 2 is... And quick shout out to Battlefront 1, specifically. I think it's Cloud City from Bespin. That map's not in 2. That map is incredible in 1. Fun time. And it's funny just to be a pilot anyway. So yeah, my favorite Star Wars thing ever is the original Battlefront 2.
Wow. Yeah. And there's also a Star Wars Obi-Wan for the Xbox.
Yeah. I don't know why you would mention that, Owen.
I don't know. I've never played it. Have you ever played it?
Not yet. Also, Star Wars Bounty Hunter is a good game, but that's just to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's all right. All right. Let's get it on. Downtown. Go. All right, so in a real quick review, we got number 5 for me, Lego Star Wars. Most likely just the complete series, but in general. Number 4, we got Star Wars Clone Wars. Number 3, we got 70-30 Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Number 2, we got Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show. And then we got number 1 here. Here we go. It's a New Hope. It's a New Hope. I know I'm going to sound like a WatchMojo.com video. It's like, number 1, Star Wars A New Hope. It's the best. All right, see ya. Like 5 minutes, they upload a video that's just the exact same. Anyway, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, or simply Star Wars, is of course the magnum opus that started it all. It's just meant to be like a fun kid's space adventure. On record, that's just what George Lucas was trying to do. Obviously, he never expected any of this to happen, or any of these people to be as excited about this. But here we are. Star Wars, like the open... You know it. Everything about A New Hope is iconic in not only Star Wars media, but like film and like media, period. You got that opening shot of the tiny ship, the Underdog, immediately being chased by this massive, dark, and intimidating Star Destroyer. You already get a sense of the tone and the people that you should be rooting for. you don't even see Luke Skywalker until like 30 minutes into the movie. No, that's a lie. Well, it's like 20 to 30 minutes into the movie, then you finally meet Luke Skywalker. You'd know as much about this stuff as he does. And then you just get swept up into this galactic adventure, which just takes place on like 2 planets. And you meet Han Solo, you meet Chewie, you meet how Greedo didn't shoot first. You got the arm chop off. You got the that's not a moon. You got to watch out for that not moon.
That not moon. Yeah, the Death Star. It's not in Moontown.
Yeah, no, it's just a town, and not even it's a weapon. Big, and you got just the Death Star in general. How many parodies of the Death Star and Darth Vader have there even been? Like hundreds. How many things right now have taken something from Star Wars? Have taken either a tone or a kind of scene or a kind of action from Star Wars?
We're
Nothing.
looking at you, Harry Potter.
Exactly, yeah. Harry Potter would be nothing without Star Wars, which just goes to show that science is more important than magic, but Jesus is Lord.
Damn right.
Almost slipped on that, but
I thought you were going to say Jesus is both, and I'm like, I'm not going to argue with that.
well, that's a whole nother conversation.
Dude, what if we could do top 5 books of the Bible? I have to finish.
Well, I mean, later on, sure.
Moontown, your Christian is showing.
Yeah, I would need some time to look it over again. Actually read stuff, but yeah, so number 1, it's A New Hope. How could I say more than number 1 is A New Hope? Like Empire Strikes Back, probably it's like a close second, but Empire is like the best sequel. Star Wars is probably
The best Burkwell.
probably one of just the best movies in general. Millions of people agree with that, and I am not an outlier.
You are normal, Owen.
I'm as normal as a saltine on white bread. That made it sound like white people are the normal ones. Let me explain.
Wait, hold on. But no, we get that was a joke. But would you put saltines on white bread?
I'm pale. That was the joke.
So you're paint.
Huh.
But really, guys, our number 1 is actually the Christmas special.
Of course, the Star Wars Holiday Special. How could we forget it? It's got,
Chewie and his family. That's Mark Hamill and makeup.
that's some of the best dialogue in history. How can
That's
we forget classic lines such as "roar"?
peak script writing, my dude.
Yeah,
It should have won an Oscar. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Just like Chewie's son, "Rawr," and then his mom just like looks at him dead in the eye and goes, "Rawr," and it's like you can't write that stuff.
No.
And then it's like, hey, what's Harvey Korman doing? Like, we don't care. It's like, all right, here's a whole scene.
And it's because we don't care that we love it.
Exactly. So, that's our number 0.
If you were to rank Battlefront 2, I know that game holds significance to me, obviously, and my friend groups, but like, how does it hold up to you?
I know I've definitely played it a few times. I don't own it. I own Battlefront 1.
I think also don't own it because GameStop stuff.
All right, so now we just have to go to your house and play Battlefront 2 and then go through the original trilogy.
Yep. We should just play a whole bunch of Star Wars games, honestly.
Yeah, now we have to.
Oh my gosh, Owen, we can keep this on the podcast, or you can edit it out with magic. We should have next May. We should do a month of Star Wars stuff because we'll actually be able to record.
That is true. That is very true. Well, here we are at the end of the road.
At the end of the galaxy's edge.
Ooh,
Not on my list.
yeah, those poor people that couldn't get on Rise of the Resistance in time.
Although Rise of the Resistance is actually incredible. I considered putting that on my top 5. I also considered Star Tours.
You know what? Yeah, original Star Tour. You know what? Yeah, number 5.
Original. Oh no! You know what's great? Even like the second phase. Well, for us, it's the second phase of Star Tours. Before this stuff they're doing now, like when it did prequel and original series stuff.
Yeah.
First time C-3PO was the pilot. I miss Rex. Rex was amazing. But like, those areas, that was just fun stuff. And when you're the rebel spy, yeah, because now you're the resistance spy, I think, and it's not the same.
Nice. I don't think I've ever been the rebel spy.
And now you never will be again.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to replace number 5, forget Lego Star Wars, just going to put Star Tours on there.
Yeah.
Every time I go, I try my best to get on Star Tours. It's just a necessity now. Going over.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it for honorable mentions, because like that could honestly also be number 5 for me.
Yeah.
Or just that in the store in itself, Star Tours, and then when you get off and you're in the store, the lightsabers. I also almost put the build your own lightsaber kit on there. Guys, we like a lot of Star Wars stuff. That's all we can say.
Yeah, I got my own lightsaber right here, actually. I carefully looked through at the little Tomorrowland panel thing, with all the fights going on up above you.
Yep.
And this is Obi-Wan's lightsaber.
I also have Obi-Wan's lightsaber, but the pre-made ones. I have a lot of Star Wars stuff that you don't see because they're in a storage unit. Or not in a storage unit. They're in a tub outside my room. I mean, I have some Star Wars stuff in here. I have my DL-44 is right over there. And with that, thank you for watching MoonTown Offline, where we discussed our top 5 Star Wars media. In quick review, we have Owen. What is your top 5?
Number 5, Star Tours. Number 4, Star Wars Clone Wars, 2003. Number 3, Empire Strikes Back. Number 2, Star Wars The Clone Wars, 2008. And number 1, Star Wars.
For Austin, we have... Don't interrupt. For Austin, we have number 5, Star Wars The Clone Wars. Number 4, Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Number 3, Star Wars The Force Awakens. Number 2, Lego Star Wars, which he might rethink. If you ask him again, that might not be on the list. And then number 1, Star Wars Battlefront 2, from either published by Activision, LucasArts, whatever, not EA. Although I will give EA's Battlefront 1, I did have fun playing online because I like choosing different guns. That was fun. But thanks for watching, everyone. May the Force be with you.
Yep. In these dark times, we must all remember that the Force is with us.
Always.
Dang, that was so cool.